There's a very specific feeling that hits when someone says, "Have you checked your bank account?" Your chest tightens just a little. Your brain hesitates, and suddenly you remember something urgent you need to do instead. You're not lazy, you're not irresponsible, and you're definitely not bad with money. What you're reacting to isn't money, it's what money represents to your nervous system. Because money is never just numbers. It's safety, it's comparison, it's self-worth. It's the quiet fear of, what if I mess this up? And for some people, that emotional weight is heavy enough that the brain decides, let's not think about this at all. Here's the uncomfortable truth most people won't say out loud. Avoiding money is often a form of emotional self-protection. Think about it. When you don't look at something, you can't be disappointed by it. You can't feel behind. You can't confirm the fear that maybe you should be doing better by now. So the mind delays. It scrolls, it distracts. It says, I'll deal with it later. And later turns into months, sometimes years. Psychologically, this happens because money activates the same brain systems tied to threat and identity. When your brain senses danger, not physical danger, but emotional exposure, it chooses the fastest relief available. That relief is avoidance. For many people, money conversations were never neutral growing up. They were tense, they were shame-filled. They were arguments whispered behind doors, or stress you could feel without understanding. So the brain learned an association early on. Money equals discomfort. Even as an adult, that wiring stays active. You might logically know that checking your finances is smart, but logic doesn't run the nervous system. Emotion does. And emotion says this doesn't feel safe. There's also the silent comparison layer, the one nobody admits. You hear about someone investing, someone saving, someone figuring it out. And without meaning to, your brain asks, why not me? That question hurts. So instead of answering it, the brain shuts the door. Avoidance becomes a shield against inadequacy. What makes this worse is how society frames money competence. We act like adults should just know this stuff, as if financial literacy is instinctual, not learned. So when someone feels lost, they don't think, I need education. They think, there's something wrong with me. That thought is poison for motivation. Here's something important. People who avoid money are often highly aware, sensitive, and emotionally intelligent in other areas of life. They overthink conversations, they reflect deeply, they feel things intensely. That same sensitivity, when aimed at money, becomes overwhelm. Because money decisions feel permanent, mistakes feel irreversible, and the brain hates irreversible risk. So instead of risking the wrong move, it makes no move at all. But avoidance doesn't remove anxiety, it postpones it. The stress doesn't disappear, it hums quietly in the background. Bills become scarier because they're unseen. Numbers feel bigger because they're unknown. And the longer you wait, the heavier the emotional weight becomes. Here's the paradox. The thing you're avoiding is often the thing that would give you relief. Not because money fixes everything, but because clarity calms the nervous system. Uncertainty is louder than bad news. When people finally sit down and look, really look, there's often a moment of shock, followed by something unexpected. Relief. Because now the fear has a shape, and anything with a shape can be handled. The shift doesn't come from suddenly being disciplined, it comes from changing the emotional relationship, from punishment to curiosity, from judgment to neutrality. From what does this say about me to what's actually here. Money avoidance softens when it stops being tied to identity. You are not your balance. You are not your mistakes. You are not behind in life. You're just human in a system that never taught you gently. The people who eventually build a healthy relationship with money aren't the most confident ones. They're the ones who learn how to sit with discomfort without letting it define them.